Hey there, it's Scott to talk about stories today. Uh, and I was thinking about an early entrepreneurial experience I had when I was in college. In between summers, my brother and I started a landscaping company one summer. And we had both mowed lawns and done weeds for another company, decided to do it ourselves. And we were worried about how we were going to price things. Is it going to be by the job or by the hour? And if there was any other way that we could make some money. Well, one of the places was with dumping the yard waste. It wasn't like today, like where I live, you can put out your yard waste in a bin for free, which is great. But back then, do you compost it yourself? Do you find a place to dump it? You don't want to put it in the trash. So we happened to know a guy who called himself the Colonel. He gave us some of our early jobs. He also was in landscaping, and he had a deal with somebody, a place where you could dump your yard waste. And we were able to get in on that. We could also dump, and I think it worked out for that person. They could turn it into compost. So, anyways, we went down, and my brother and I pulled up Microsoft Word and wrote out a document, like a pricing sheet, basically, a little agreement between us and our clients. And we had a little line in there about dump fees. And I don't remember what it was, another $10, $15. I felt kind of bad about it. I'm like, well, it's free for us to dump it. Shouldn't we pass along that free thing? But at the same time, it was providing something useful to them. And it was just a way of breaking down kind of the fee structure. So we went ahead and put it on there. And that was kind of the most exciting time of like designing kind of this offer and agreement between us and the clients. Nobody said a word. Nobody had a problem with it. They were happy to get the stuff off their property, and it all made sense, fit into it. So why am I telling you that story? Well, I want to illustrate how to tell a quick story, just off the cuff. So I wrote down, here we got the word story. Here's a little mnemonic device to remember story. So 5 parts. The first one is our letter S. We want our story to be specific. A specific story is about a time and place with particular people. So my story just now was about me and my brother. It was about when we were starting our landscaping business one summer, right? That's a time and a place specific. Next T is tension, right? You want to have some conflict or tension, some pressure in a story. It's kind of like drawing back a bow and arrow. Your arrow can't go to the target unless you get some tension in that bow. T could also stand for target, because you're going for somewhere and you're going to encounter resistance. So for my story, super simple, super quick, but it was, how are we going to figure out pricing, something that entrepreneurs deal with, and also, how do I feel good about the pricing? And are people going to react to it? And the client's going to put up a fuss or not? That's creating tension. All right. Next, we got what? S.T.O. O for order. Order. A story is a sequence of events. You don't have to get fancy and simple. This isn't flashback. We're not making Memento here, where, we have all these different points of view. In a story that we make for sales story or giving in a speech, we want a cause and effect relationship. One thing led to the next. So my story, landscaping story, we were here, we want to start a business, do pricing, and we did these steps. R is made a little mistake there. R is result. What was the result of your story? It ended for me on the customers were happy. They didn't put up a fuss. The story could be a success of a customer, or it could be a lesson learned, something like that. It ends to a point, right? We're using these stories as tools. Last is why. Why tell me? Why are you telling me this story? This is an important part, because you always want to bring your story back to whatever your offer is or the lesson that you're imparting. And so for me, it was as simple as, I'm telling you the story so I can illustrate the story principle, right? So if you are stuck telling a story, or if it just feels too daunting, you can see from my example, it's just off the cuff. It wasn't polished, but it gets the point across. Just remember S.T.O.R.Y. Make your story specific, give some tension to your story, put it in an order, and with a result, and tell us why you're telling us this story. That's it. If you got any questions, let me know. Put it in any comments or email me at scott@marketingwithstory. Stay storied.